Well, here we go, a new week in the stock market, and following on from last week, which last week was actually a really good week in the stock market for me. The actual S&P 500 was about flat, but actually the individual stocks that I hold, like HIMS and DraftKings, for example, were having massive rallies. So yeah, my account did really well last week. So hopefully, as we kind of have in the actual indexes, it's a bit of a quiet season. There's not much volatility, and they've been staying quite flat at the moment. My account has been ticking up nicely. So hopefully it continues this week, and there'll definitely be a few moves this week with us entering peak earnings season this week and next week. And as well, the week after, we have the Fed as well that will be setting out the interest rate. So we'll be seeing if there's any indication that a pause will be coming, and that's something major for the week after anyway. So we'll be talking about that next Monday anyway. But let's get stuck onto this week. It's a mega week for the stock market, a big week into earnings season. We start entering the peak of earnings season right now. So we'll just give a minute or two on some of the companies that are reporting earnings and my thoughts on them. I know you guys like it when I speak about a lot of companies for a minute or two. So for you guys that enjoy them sort of videos, hopefully you enjoy this one today. And also a shout out to the Patreon. If you want to join, link is in the description. It's only £5 a month, and on there I post what I'm buying and selling in real time, as well as 2 exclusive videos a week. And on the weekend just gone, we talked about the earnings from the week that just went, and also we did the stock request, and we took a look into GSK, Shopify and Amazon. But getting stuck onto the earnings on the UK side of it, we're not going to focus much on the UK side, but there is, I mean, look at this list. This is just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. There's a lot of companies that are reporting earnings on the UK side of it. So you guys on the UK scene, keep an eye out, because there's a few companies reporting earnings. The likes of, I believe JD Sports are reporting, Taylor Wimpey, I believe Legal & General reporting. I believe Alpha Wave are potentially reporting on the Friday, I believe it is. So yeah, there's a lot of things there that are going to be going on the UK side of it. But looking at the US side of it at the moment, Monday's kind of the chill day. We've got Coca-Cola, which I don't know if anyone's too big on Coca-Cola unless Warren Buffett's watching this video. Philips, Whirlpool. Tuesdays really starts to kick on. Verizon, UPS will be one that everyone will be looking at, a bit of an indication on the economy, what's kind of being sent around, parcel sales, e-commerce. Everybody will be looking at that as a bit of an indication on how that's doing. So we'll have a look at UPS. There'll be the likes of GM, McDonald's, which I don't know if you guys remember, but at the start of the year I did a prediction video, which was like my 10 predictions for 2023. I think McDonald's actually featured on it, and my prediction with McDonald's is that it would actually underperform the market. And yeah, at the time, until it got to April, it was looking a pretty good prediction, because the stock was up 1%, and as we know, the S&P has been absolutely smashing this year. But then in the last month, then the stock's gone absolutely crazy. It's up another 9%, and now it's trading at 35 times earnings for McDonald's. Absolutely bonkers. So we'll see what happens there. That was just a little bit of a flashback to the start of the year. And yeah, we've got 3M. A few guys maybe looking at that as a bit of a dividend play. PepsiCo. Spotify is a company I always keep looking at, because I think the actual platform's so sticky. But I still look at like the profitability, and not being able to ramp up the profitability. What does kind of put me off it. But we'll see what they do. And then Thursday after close is where it gets massive. This is where it starts getting absolutely bonkers. And I'm not gonna lie, for a second I thought that was Stripe, and I was like, hold on, when did Stripe IPO? So yeah, on Tuesday, we've got Microsoft, the company that I own. I've held that stock for around about 6 years. Alphabet's a key one for me. I'll be looking at them guys, because obviously it's a stock that I've been building up, particularly massive in the last 12 months. And recently the stock has had a bit of a rally, as you can see here, from that $90 range where I personally like to buy it. It's had a bit of a rally back into the $105 range. So we'll see what's going on with Alphabet. I wouldn't expect anything mega from it, just because we're still in the environment of probably weak marketing, and I couldn't see that improving that much. So I wouldn't expect anything big from them. So we'll see if there's any weakness there. If there's any weakness and it takes it back down to the the $90 range, then I'd love to pick up a few more shares, because I'd like to get it. Ideally, I would like Google to be my biggest position in my portfolio. So we'll see if it gets if we can do it. But to do it, it has to be $90. So yeah, I haven't got big expectations for it, and I think that I might get the chance at $90. We'll see. But Google probably will then go move the likes of Meta and Snapchat and Pinterest before they actually report later in the week as well. Enphase are reporting. I've actually been doing a bit of digging into Enphase in the last week. It's a stock that I'm kind of tempted with. The only problem that I've been looking at is there going to be a sales slowdown in this environment? And also I've been looking at thinking, how much can the growth continue? That's another thing that I've been looking at. So maybe there's a bit of another drop. I think last time they reported earnings, there was quite a big drop in share price. So we'll see if they're still reporting good growth. I'll also be interested to see if there is a drop and it goes a little bit cheaper. That would be great. So I'm just making that one a note for you guys, that's one that I am interested in and following at the moment. Visa is a company that I own. I think I've owned Visa for around about 5 years, maybe a little bit, maybe 4 years, 5 years. So yeah, I think I'm up like 50% on that one. It's just one I hold. Hopefully transactions are still doing very well with Visa. I would expect them still to do very well, especially like cross-border transactions. I would still expect to do very well. So I would expect okay numbers from Visa. AAA will be reporting as well. Texas Instruments, Jupiter. But yeah, between the close on Thursday, there's them 4 big stocks there that I'll be massively staring at. Wednesday, Boeing. Boeing is just one of those companies that I think like they're so lucky that they have only 2 plane manufacturers out there, and they're really kind of like untouchable that they've got two plane manufacturers out here. If it wasn't for that and the government bailing them out all the time, like it's been such a badly run company, and I keep staring at Boeing and going, I won't mind owning it because of the moat it has, but you just look and they're just making mistake after mistake after mistake, and I don't know, like I just can't own it because of that. Like they just keep messing up. But you'd think like with I guess the fact that there's only 2 plane manufacturers has kind of saved them, but they just keep making mistakes. I just can't buy it at the moment. But I mean, it was one of the stocks that I actually bought in the whole CV times, and I think I made like good money off it. I can't remember. I think it was like maybe 70% or something on it. You guys that might be watching the channel in 2020 might remember that. But yeah, and then after the close we've got Meta. So Meta will be key because everyone will be focusing on the spend and efficiencies. That's the big thing with Meta. Everyone will be looking at going, how are them efficiencies kicking in? Is there more efficiencies? What is the guidance towards profitability? That's what everyone will be staring at Meta. It won't be too much around the revenue growth and user growth. There will be some focus on that, but that's the key thing that everybody will be staring at Meta. And what are the kind of reality labs? What are they focusing on it still? Are they kind of giving up on it? I generally think if Meta and Mark Zuckerberg came out and said, we called ourselves Meta, and yeah, we're going back to calling ourselves Facebook, and also changing our ticker symbol back to FB, and also this reality labs spending, it's not going to be any more than like 1% of our or very, very minimal. If they did something like that, I reckon the share price would be hitting 250 easily. So that'll be the key focus around that. Roku are reporting, ServiceNow, TDoc, which is one that I own. These guys, stock I haven't prioritized. I haven't prioritized it because I've been buying HIMS massively, as you guys know, because I was looking at TDoc and I was looking at HIMS and I was like, I can't justify buying TDoc when HIMS is doing all this. It's crazy. So hopefully they show some signs of positivity, because they made the acquisition for Livongo. It hasn't worked out. Management haven't really been able to capitalize on that and use the boom from the CV, and the tough comps have really killed the business. So hopefully they improve from that situation and I can become a buyer of it, but there's not much positivity there at the moment. We've got Align, United Rentals that are reporting. Thursday, American Airlines, Caterpillar, MasterCard will probably have already moved on earnings depending on what Visa have done. Crocs, I mean, I was taking a big look into Crocs a while ago, and it's been on an absolute amazing rally on the share price. It was crazy low in the middle of 2022, as a lot of stocks were, and I was doing an hour about buying Crocs, and eventually I decided, like, I don't know how much of a trend it actually is at the moment. That's the main problem I have. Is it a bit of a trend that's going on? And I also looked at the balance sheet. Like at the time, if you have a look at the balance sheet in the middle of 2022, I mean, they were sitting on nearly 3 billion in debt. Obviously, the company was around about a 4 billion market cap company. Like the debt was nearly the size of the market cap, and the debt to equity was over like nearly 800%. I was like, that's a terrible balance sheet. And even though they generate really decent amounts of levels of profitability, I was looking and thinking, well, they can pay the debt down, but it's still in a high interest environment to have that debt. Like, I was a bit nervous, and eventually I never bought Crocs because I thought I don't know how much of a trend it actually is about the popularity at the moment, and also the debt made me a bit nervous in a high interest environment. And look at the stock, it goes absolutely bonkers, and it does kind of show you sometimes, you know, you look at these sort of things and you go, do Wall Street even care about balance sheets? Like, do Wall Street even factor in balance sheets sometimes? Because you're looking at that and going, you wouldn't have bet on that stock to, you know, even though it was a cheap valuation, you still wouldn't have thought that the stock would have rallied, you know, from them lows 200% when you're looking at that balance sheet at the time, when it was, at that point there, you know, it was, I mean, at the peak, it was 823% debt to equity and a 3 billion on debt and, you know, nearly a 4 billion market cap company. You just wouldn't have expected a rally like that looking at that balance sheet, but it happens, and sometimes you just scratch your head a little bit going, you just don't know which stocks are going to rally, because if you showed that one back in, you know, June time with that balance sheet with the fears around interest rates increasing, you just wouldn't expect it. But yeah, I mean, that's absolutely crazy. Maybe a missed opportunity, but I think everyone could kind of understand why I didn't really want to buy it. So that was Crocs. Altria reporting, AbbVie reporting. AbbVie are normally on a Friday. That's a bit of a change around there. Amazon are reporting earnings. Obviously, we just covered it on the stock request. But, I mean, Amazon's one of those, I think if you buy Amazon, you'll do okay. My only issue why I haven't bought Amazon is that I think there's better stocks out there. Like, I would say PayPal's better than Amazon. I think Google's better than Amazon. I would have, not now, but I would have argued that Meta, when Meta was in the low $100 range, even, I forgot it went to $90. Look at that. I can't believe it. Meta actually went to $88. That's actually scary when you look at it now. But when that was at $88, I think all three of those big techs were better opportunities than Amazon, and two, I think Google and I'd still say Google's better than Amazon opportunity at the moment, and PayPal. Like, that's why I've not bought Amazon, because I think there's better techs out there than Amazon. I wouldn't blame you for buying Amazon. You know, it's a quality company with a good moat. I just personally think that Amazon, the days of Amazon was okay when it was growing 30+% revenue growth, but everyone doesn't know what Amazon's going to grow at. If Amazon's now a company that grows at single digit a year, single digit percentage a year, I don't think you can justify Amazon being a decent value. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's a decent valuation. So that's personally for me where we're at. I think a lot of people are in the exact boat, and that's why the share price hasn't moved as much, as that everyone's looking at, like, what's your profitability going to be in the longer term, and also looking at what you're growing at going forward, and no one knows. You know, you've gone from pre-pandemic of, you know, before 2020. You know, obviously, this is what everyone's trying to work out, is that so many companies had a boom over the CV times. What are these e-commerce companies now growing at going forward? And, you know, previous Amazon was growing 30%, and then it had the boom where it doubled up in revenue, and there's been that demand pulled forward. But now what's the normal growth year for Amazon? And, you know, I think if Amazon goes back to like high 20% growth, then you look and go, I can justify it now, but that's what we're all trying to work out, I guess. So key thing will be guidance on Amazon going forward. Intel reporting, we'll see if their turnaround play actually starts kicking in for the first time for whatever it is, 5 years. Snapchat, they probably would have already moved off Google and Meta, but that's a very volatile earnings in Snapchat. They move a lot of earnings, and never a stock that's kind of really interested me. Cloudflare will be reporting for solar. They might have moved a bit already off InPhase's earnings. Pinterest, obviously I'm a shareholder of Pinterest. I think they've got something really good on there. I think Pinterest is a great such an underrated platform. Like, even now, I use Pinterest for all the time for like ideas. I was trying to think of like landscaping the garden a little bit this year. It's not had much attention recently, and looking a bit grim, you know, when you just leave it, and looking at potentially ways of, like, you know, just upcycling it a little bit, and straight on Pinterest looking for ideas. I mean, it's just a great platform that's very different from the likes of Meta or Snapchat. And the great thing with Pinterest is, like, for me, like, if you imagine I was looking at landscaping things at the weekend, I was like, oh, you know, this is just an example. You know, I like that furniture set that's over there. Oh, you like that furniture set that's in the image that we're showing you on Pinterest? How about you can buy that furniture set through the pin, boom, and then you know, Pinterest comes a bit of an idea site, and then you factor in the e-commerce site as well, and also the advertising, like, oh, you like this product, come buy this one over here on our site and all that. You know, it's such a e-commerce type platform for ideas and advertising and shopping that I think is just so different from the likes of the other plays that are out there, and doesn't have the controversy as well of like a TikTok or Snapchat or Meta either, which I think is very different as well. So I really think Pinterest has so much potential, especially in Europe as well. That's a big growing area for them. So we'll see what Pinterest come out with. Obviously, the problem is like it's very much like a Google and Meta at the moment, marketing business. So they're going to be not great numbers, but it's what it can do in the longer term, I guess, really, when we come out of this environment. ExxonMobil, Chevron that reported on Friday. Not too many big ones really that I'm bothered about there. But yeah, overall, it's a big week for earnings. I'm sure you've got one on this list that is reporting earnings. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be at least one that we'll have a featured video on the channel talking about at some point anyway during this week. So hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you're looking out for on earnings, any particular company anyway, and have a great week. Smash the like button, and I'll catch you all in a bit.